Gears of War Reloaded has been officially out for us to play for 1 month. And if I'm being honest, it's not the best Gears of War game ever made, but it's also not the worst Gears of War game ever made. For example, when Gears of War 5 first came out, the first month of Gears of War 5 being released, it was probably, if not, it was the worst release month for a Gears of War game ever, in my opinion. I try to look back on the release dates for all the Gears of War games, and to be honest, I can only remember Gears of War 4 because I didn't get Gears of War 1 when it released, I didn't get Gears of War 2 when it released, and I didn't get Gears of War 3 when it released. I got the first trilogy when it was already out, including Gears of War Judgment. But Gears of War 4 was the first ever Gears of War game that I got on its release date. Ever since the Coalition took over Gears of War, in my opinion, I think Gears of War has been going on a downhill ever since TC took over the franchise. And when I say on a downhill, I don't mean that the games have been garbage 100%. I'm just saying that TC doesn't know how to make a Gears of War game. If you look at what Epic Games did with the original trilogy and how good those games were, and then you look at what the Coalition, aka TC, have done for the recent Gears of War games, you can clearly tell that there is a huge difference on the quality of the games. I also feel like TC have gotten lazy over the years with Gears of War. I think Gears of War 4, they did a pretty good job, but then Gears of War 5, they got very lazy. And then with Gears of War Reloaded, they even got even more lazier than Gears of War 5. So again, I'm not trying to shit talk TC or shit talk Gears of War, because I love Gears of War, but I'm just trying to say that ever since Gears 5, back in 2019, this franchise has just been going downhill ever since. And in this video, that is what I'm going to talk about, how TC have been ruining Gears of War for the last couple years. First, I want to talk about Gears of War 4. Gears of War 4 was released on October 2016, and looking back at Gears of War 4 when it released, I hated Gears of War 4, but after we played Gears of War 5 and Gears of War Reloaded, I realized that Gears of War 4 was the last real attempt at making a very good Gears of War game. I want to talk about the content updates for Gears of War 4. So the game came out October 2016, and the last content update that dropped for Gears of War 4 was June of 2019. So if you count, that's 2 years and 8 months of content for Gears of War 4. Now, a lot of people might have been sad that the content for the game is ending, but don't worry, because 3 months from there, Gears of War 5 is coming out, right? So as you can see, that right there was a big thing. The game came out October 2016. The final content update came out June of 2019. That's 2 years and 8 months of content. But don't worry, because 3 months later, September 2019, Gears of War 5 is going to release. So as you can see, TC was on their game back in the day, right? As soon as the content for Gears of War 4 ended, 3 months later, they were already going to release the next Gears of War game, Gears of War 5. So all we had to do was wait 3 months to play the next Gears of War game. But with Gears of War 5, for some reason, everything just started to just go bad for TC. Gears of War 5 released on September 2019, as I said earlier, and the final content update for Gears of War 5 was September 2021. Not even 2 years. Gears of War 5 dropped September 10th of 2019, and the final content update was September 7th of 2021. So not even 2 years, but just for this video, I'm going to say that the content for Gears of War 5 was 2 years long. So you would think that after the content for Gears of War 5 ended, that we would get the next mainline Gears of War game in about 3 months, 4 months, maybe even 5 months, because it took 3 years for Gears of War 5 to come out after Gears of War 4. But no, all we got after Gears of War 5 was radio silence. You remember how after the Gears of War 4 content ended, 3 months later we got Gears of War 5? Well, guess what? For Gears of War 5, after the content ended for that game, we got nothing. We had to wait 4 years for the next Gears of War game to come out. 4 years, and you would think that the next game that comes out is going to be Gears of War E-Day, because that's the next mainline game. But no, they made us wait 4 years to play the next Gears of War game, and that Gears of War game that we got to play is Gears of War Reloaded. Gears of War Reloaded is not a new Gears of War game. It is a remake of a remake that was made in 2015 a remake that was made of Gears of War 1, and that game came out in 2006. That is the new Gears of War game that they made us wait 4 years for. Meaning that we had to play Gears of War 5 with 0 new content added to the game for the whole entire year of 2022, 2023, and 2024. And a little bit of the year of 2025. So instead, TC did the best thing that they could do at the time. They decided to release a mobile game about Gears of War. It was called Gears Pop. If you guys do not remember Gears Pop, it was kind of like a ripoff of Clash Royale, but instead of Clash Royale, it's Gears of War. That was probably one of the weirdest things that TC has ever done. Yes, I downloaded the game on my phone. Yes, I played it. I had a good time. But it was so useless. Instead of making the next Gears of War game, they made a mobile Clash Royale type of Gears of War game. They also decided to release Gears of War Tactics. Gears of War Tactics was only available for the PC, but then they added it to consoles. Basically, Gears of War Tactics was a Gears of War game that had kind of the mechanics of League of Legends, where you have to the camera angle is on the sky and stuff like that. And it basically just wasn't a real Gears of War game. The camera was on top of the player, not behind the player. It wasn't a third-person shooter. It was just not good. It was boring. Yes, it was canon, I guess you can say, to the Gears of War story, but no one is going to play Gears of War Tactics and play that game. It didn't even have multiplayer at all. So why would they even bother on making Gears of War Tactics? So as you can see, Gears of War 5 was basically a shit show when it comes to the franchise, right? You look back at Gears of War 4. The game cycle was 3 years, 2 years and 8 months worth of content, and then 3 months later, after that final content update, we get Gears of War 5. Gears of War 5's life cycle was barely 2 years, the content updates was barely 2 years, and then we had to wait 4 years for the next Gears of War game, which isn't even a new Gears of War game. It's a remake of a remake that came out in 2015, by the way. Literally a copy and paste. And in between of those 4 years, they gave us 2 whack Gears of War games, one on mobile and one on PC that isn't even third person. Can you guys see why I think TC is just ruining the Gears of War franchise? Can you guys see why? Right, Gears of War 1 came out in 2006. 2 years later, we got Gears of War 2 in 2008. 3 years later, we got Gears of War 3 in 2011. 2 years later, we got Gears of War Judgment in 2013. 2 years later, we got Gears of War Ultimate Edition, a remake of Gears of War 1 in 2015. 1 year later, we got Gears of War 4 in 2016. 3 years later, we got Gears of War 5 in 2019. And then 6 years later, we finally get a new Gears of War game, and it's Gears of War Reloaded. And it's not even a new Gears of War game. It is just a copy and paste of a Gears of War game that came out in 2015. Do you guys see why I think TC sucks at making Gears of War games? Do you guys see why? It is unbelievable. Gears of War Reloaded was supposed to be this game that, gives us back this trust from TC to be like, you know what, guys? I know we failed you guys for the last 6 to 4 years when it comes to this franchise, but don't worry. We're working on Gears of War E-Day, and we can't wait for you guys to see it. This is their way of trying to be like, hey, guys, I'm sorry. But this is such a shitty way. Gears of War 5 was terrible, Gears Pop was terrible, Gears Tactics is terrible, and now Gears of War Reloaded is terrible. If they mess up Gears of War E-Day, this franchise is over. It is done. It is over. This game has been out for a month, and people are already leaving. I'm not gonna leave because I love Gears of War, but people are already leaving. They need to do better. They need to do better. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications so you guys won't miss a video ever on this channel about Gears of War. And yeah, man, I don't know what else to say. TC just sucks at making Gears of War games. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.